Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to a new live episode of He Said, He Said, He Said, a look at the world from a seasoned black man's perspective. I'm your host, Alvin King. Welcome to our Friday, January the 31st episode. It is the longest month I've ever seen in the history of living. I don't recall January being this long at all, and it has been a January. Okay, January did not come in with pom poms and confetti in my life, and I hope it did in yours, but in mine it did not. So I am glad to see January come to an end. How's everyone doing tonight? We are here to give you guys our Let's Get Newsy 28 tonight, and we are so happy that you're here. Um, for those of you who are like me and are Commanders fans, uh, last Sunday the Washington Commanders fell short of reaching their Super Bowl dream as they fell to the Philadelphia Eagles 55-23 in the NFC Championship game. But I'm just going to say, through all of that, I want to say kudos to the Commanders for getting as far as they did, and they could not have done it with this man, Jaden Daniels, ladies and gentlemen. This rookie, I mean, he did what he needed to do, and the team has shown a lot from which they can build on next season with him. And if for those of you who don't know, Jaden Daniels, who broke the NFL rookie quarterback single season rushing record in leading the Commanders to the playoffs for the first time since 2020, is the 2024 Rookie of the Year and the Offensive Rookie of the Year. And it was chosen by a voting conducted by the Professional Football Writers of America. I am so proud of him. I'm so proud of him. But what the Commanders did was set the stage for a beautiful moment. The Super Bowl stage is set, and the Eagles versus Kansas City will go down on February the 9th. Kudos to both teams who did what they needed to do. But this story here is about Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes. Two black quarterbacks face off in the Super Bowl, the ultimate Super Bowl rematch, and how Mahomes and Hurts are making history again as both of them join a rare club and are the first black quarterbacks ever to face off in a Super Bowl rematch. I am so proud of these brothers. I need every black moment that I can get. So I'm taking this moment right here, ladies and gentlemen. So kudos to them. I know that I'll be looking at the Super Bowl, and I know you will too. Also, the wait is over. The giant pandas, Bao Lee and Q Bao, made their public debut last Friday, January the 24th, at the Smithsonian National Zoo right here in DC. And it was a day of pure pandemonium for the visitors. Bao Lee is a 3-year-old male panda and carries the legacy of Smithsonian panda royalty, by the way. And Q Bao is a 3-year-old female and is named for the lush greenery and panda habitants. King translates to green and treasure, while Bao reinforces her cherished status. If you all have not gone to the Smithsonian National Zoo to see them do that, it is, I mean, I'm talking, it's dramatic. It's a lot to see. So if you're in DC, please check that out. And since we're talking about bears, now I know a lot of black folks don't get into this, but it is a fundraiser, so I'm going to talk about it. The polar bear challenge is coming up next weekend at the Chesapeake Bay in support of Special Olympics. It's the 20th anniversary on February the 8th, and it supports the Special Olympics Maryland Polar Bear Plunge by raising fundraisers in the event where individuals pledge $100 or more for the chance to plunge into the Chesapeake Bay in February. February. Again, a lot of black folks don't do it. I know black folks do it, but a lot of us, we ain't trying to get in no cold water. However, it is a very popular fundraising effort. So if you are in the Chesapeake area next week, or you gotta pay to plunge. So you can't just go and get in. You gotta go on their website and you gotta get into their fundraising effort so that you can do that. But it is a huge thing. And also, before I bring the guys on, I just realized this in less than 3 weeks after the series of historic wildfires killed 29 people and destroyed more than 16,000 structures in the Los Angeles area. Um, a group of very talented musicians and singers, they got together and did the Fire Aid benefit concert. I didn't even know that it was on, but it was yesterday, and it was an evening of music and solidarity, and some of the largest entertainers in the world were a part of it, from Billie Eilish, Green Day, Joni Mitchell, Lady Gaga, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Stevie Wonder was a part of it. I mean, it was just a huge event, and I think it's going to be streaming on Netflix, Hulu, Max, and Apple TV, and Prime Video. So if you get a chance to see it, I haven't seen it, but I just wanted to let you all know that there are more fundraising efforts out there to support those who have been impacted by the fires in California. Well, welcome to our show. And also, one last thing, thank you all for tuning in last week as we honored our ex-co-host Vosh. You all are still sending beautiful messages to us. Bobby, Shawn, and I, we were very happy with how we honored Vosh, and apparently you were too. So again, thank you for joining us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And if you all are ready, let's get on with the chat. Hey, guys.
Hello, friends.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. Hello, Monica. Hello, George. Raw Health is back. And Raw Health said, good evening, Alvin and everyone else. This is the pot calling the kettle black.
Ooh.
Appointed administration. I'm done with the food. Raw.
Done with the foolishness. We get it. We totally get it.
You are not alone. Hello, Michelle. Welcome to the show. Look,
Hey.
Shawn, Michelle know who you are now. You know who you are. Yeah.
I need to see her picture.
Oh, Michelle.
And Alvin, I don't want you to think that we missed that when you were doing the panda story, talking about the pandemonium. I was like,
I got good writers. That's
all. Giant pandas. I love it.
That's all I can say to that. Have you guys had a good week?
It's been an interesting with work, and I'm actually not in my regular space, as you guys might notice. I'm in Philadelphia, actually, the city of brotherly love, for some work. So,
How about you, Shawn? Oh, I'm sorry, Bobby.
No, I was just gonna say it's cold and rainy up here.
Okay.
It's been a week. I had to take Thursday off from work just to have some time to myself. I needed my alone time.
You know what? Say it again.
Self-care.
Because more people need to do that.
Yep.
Yes.
More people need to do that. Wow.
Take your alone time. It is necessary.
Yeah. I've been telling people the show that we did last week was very therapeutic for me in honoring Vosh. You know, you just don't know how some things are going to hit you, and putting everything into the show and talking about him the way we did, it was very therapeutic. And because Saturday could have been a very bad day for me after that. So I was glad that we got a chance to do that. Oh, Raw Health is sending notes. He said, go to Angelo's in South Philadelphia for a steak and pizza.
Okay, I'm writing this down. Angelo's in South. Well, I don't know how much time I'm going to have before I get out of here, but I'm for a steak or a pizza. I'm going in South Philly. Okay, thank you.
Well, as a Raw Health said, the administration is off to when I say this week has just been, I was going to say pandemonium, but I'm just going to say chaotic as hell. It has just been insane. And in the last 10 days, Trump has signed over 60 plus executive orders targeting deportation, LGBTQIA plus rights, orders, the U.S. to stop distribution of life-saving HIV drugs, and the disbandment of DEI initiatives throughout the federal government. But the most targeted order in the beginning of all his signing was for employees returning back to work. And he signed an executive order on Monday, the 27th, directing federal agencies to order their workers back to the office. Ooh, I hear an echo. Is that me? Hold on. No, it's not me. We're live, you ladies and gentlemen. Okay. But the heads of all the departments and agencies in the executive branch of the government are on board with it. And so it's going to move forward, requiring folks to go back to work. Now, there's a part of me that says that they should let up a little bit and say, you know, have the workers come back to work. But I think by demanding that all the federal government workers come back to work, I think there's going to be more federal government workers leaving the government than ever before. But I think that's their goal. That's their goal. And, you know, I understand Mayor Bowser saying that, you know, DC has downtown or wherever has taken like a big hit because there's no, people are not at work. They're not buying lunch. They're not supporting the stores or whatever. Most of the stores have closed. So help me out here. Help me understand why this is such a big factor.
I can tell you it's all about real estate. You know, these organizations, you know, they pay a lot of money to rent out these downtown buildings, and they want to see people in the office so that they can get that return on their investment. And of course, the residual is people being in the office and going to eat out for lunch and servicing those businesses. I work downtowns servicing small businesses, and they've been hurting for a long time. I think it's too late.
Well, I will say to you, as I travel periodically for work, I have been amazed at the number of metropolitan cities that downtown has changed significantly in terms of just, as you were saying. And so I went to a conference last year in St. Louis, Missouri, and the downtown was like a ghost town. It was amazing. And there were thousands there for the conference, but outside of the conference, we saw little to no people actually downtown. So I think that there is a push among mayors of major cities to have folks come back.
I don't know how it's going to pan out. You know, and I just think coming out the gate with all the executive orders that he has been signing, I just think that honestly, that is one that could have, but he's been signing so many that don't make sense to me. But that one right there, ladies and gentlemen, I just think that I'm going to say thank you to Shawn for giving me a better perspective on how I should think about that, about the real estate, you know, the real estate aspect of it. You know, and how the small businesses are suffering because of it. So I can look at it differently now because he said, you know, help me see it in a different way. So I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. And I hate to say this, but things are going to get a bit worse. And we're already seeing it. So you mentioned about these jobs, but people need to also realize that they have basically ceased hiring right now throughout many federal government agencies. So a lot of jobs that were posted on USA Jobs have been canceled. And I can tell you that there are people who had applied for jobs. They were in the process of being interviewed, et cetera, and so forth. And that came to a complete halt. I talked to one individual recently, and they literally were able to get someone hired at the very last minute. You know, literally, they got them in there at the very last minute. So that one person got hired. But I've heard stories of, including some Orange Man supporters. I don't say his name, so I'm going to say Orange Man. I haven't verified the story, but I heard that there's one couple somewhere in the Southwest, maybe Texas or someplace like that. The wife got a big job in the federal government, was supposed to move someplace like in Austin, bought a house, et cetera, and so forth. And then the job was taken away. And now they have no place to go. And now they're crying to the Orange Man, help us out. We voted for you. Okay, we need this job. But it's happening across the country. And I got a text literally about an hour ago from someone who had bought a house north of Baltimore, and now they're having to sell their house because they have to return to the office.
That is insane. And the other piece of that with him sending out, or this letter that went out to most people who are in the executive branch, giving them the option to quit, basically to take a buyout and get paid through September. And there are some people, I've been hearing some conversations of people who know people who got that letter who said, well, they're going to do it. And that they are going to do it, and that they could just find another job. But to your point about the jobs, USA jobs are no longer, available. Where are they going to work? Where are they going to work? They're not going back into the government. I'm sure there are other jobs and stuff that people can get, but I guarantee you the people who are leaving the government jobs ain't trying to get just any job.
It's a scam. It's what it is. I think it was Congressman Schiff. I forget who it was. I'm not sure if they were on the Senate side or the House side, but they posted something on Instagram earlier this week telling federal employees to not take the bait. Right. Okay, keep your jobs, because this is all part of something that they think they can get rid of the legacy employees, if you will, and bring in new blood when we know that it doesn't work. Okay, anytime you bring in someone from the outside who doesn't know anything about the workings of an organization, it leads to low morale, it leads to retention, it leads to people not wanting to perform at their best. And so I think we're going to see an increase in unemployment. And I also think we're going to see a recession probably within the 6 to 8 months because of all of this.
I think Elon Musk alluded to that before Orange Man became president. Yeah, he alluded to that very same thing, Shawn. Mm-hmm. Yes, stay tuned. I tell everybody, hold on to your patience. Hold on. Oral Health said, I think about those that were about to retire. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, as we talk about jobs and economy and purchasing power and so forth, having to buy this house and now having to sell it, it calls upon us to also think about being conscientious and informed, educated consumers. And so many folks are now discussing the importance of supporting Black businesses and this Buy Black movement. And obviously there are a variety of ways of supporting Black businesses. Of course, there is the large stores that carry Black vendors and so forth. There are Black businesses specifically, of course, and certainly online, finding vendors and small business owners who are also really trying to make sure that Black business survives and providing materials and goods that support the Black culture. In fact, just before we came online, I got a text from one of our friends about a new site that I had not heard about called Black Nile, N-I-L-E. Mm-hmm. That sells some very nice high-end goods, home goods, etc. And it is a Black-owned business. So we're starting to also share information with one another about ways in which we can continue to be educated consumers. In fact, I was saying to Alvin when we were speaking earlier this week, I'm old enough to remember a store that was called Sims that said, an educated consumer is our best. And so I realized that there are people who may be young enough that might not remember that advertising, but it reminded me very much of the importance of us in these days when so much is happening around business and being able to really kind of support people of color in the world of business. We are called upon to be conscientious and educated consumers in order to be able to support our own.
Yeah, and Bobby, thank you. I'm also going to say, do your homework, ladies and gentlemen. Do your homework. Don't just buy. I've been seeing some Instagram pages where people have been, quote unquote, trying to buy Black, and the merchandise that they have been getting has been less than.
Subpar.
Well, and everything being sold as being a Black item is not necessarily authentic.
So just be careful, do your work, but stay conscious. So good information, Bobby. Thank you for that. Before we end our hey, Raheem, happy birthday to you, my brother. Thank you for joining the show today. And wait a minute, Blacker Peter. He said, "Hey, Monica, thank you for bringing on a guest for us. We appreciate you, Blacker. Welcome to the show tonight." Um, but before we get out of the chat, I want to make sure that we acknowledge this special brother who's sitting here to our right with the beautiful red shirt on. He is actually
Inside
the
joke.
inside joke. He is the commissioner elect, and he just, he got his certificate, making it official. And so I just want to congratulate you, Shawn Nelson, for being a part of He Said, He Said, He Said. Thank you. Welcome to the fold.
Thank
And
you.
tell us about your new position. Share something about that.
Well, like you said, it is an elected position, so one does have to run for office. It's a nonpartisan position within Washington, D.C. So most folks know, if you don't know, Washington, D.C. is made up of 8 wards, and within each ward, you have commissioners. And the role of the commissioner primarily, the advisory neighborhood commissioner, is to kind of be the liaison between the community and the mayor's office and the D.C. council. And so me, an individual who is very results oriented, my thing is to really get results for the community in terms of what the priorities are, and making sure that we get things like development, make sure that we get things like safe streets, making sure that we get things that to support our businesses that might need funding for this or for something like that. So it can be a position that is that would take a lot of involvement, if you will. It's a lot of work if one wants results. There are a lot of meetings, a lot of asks, if you will, but I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it because I feel like I'm serving my community. I feel like I'm in the right place at the right time to ensure the future of everyone that I serve, in the Arboretum neighborhood of Washington, D.C., the Gateway neighborhood of Washington, D.C., Northeast D.C. So it's a challenging role, but if the work is done, the results are lasting. And that's what I'm trying to do, is bring some good things to the community, to serve our people, because this part of the city is predominantly Black. And we are seeing the demographics change, but I want to keep folks here and welcome diversity at the same time.
Congratulations, man.
Congratulations. Commissioner-elect Shawn Nelson. Thank you for being here. Well, again, this is our Let's Get Newsy show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, we have been full of news, so we're going to bring you some of the top stories and some entertainment news that we think that you all should be aware of. And right now, nothing could be more top story than the AA flight operated by PSA Airlines, flight 5342 from Wichita, that crashed, killing all passengers on board on Wednesday, January the 29th. American Eagle flight, again, 5342, which was operated by PSA Airlines, collided midair with a Sikorsky H-60 helicopter around 9 p.m. The plane had taken off from Wichita, Kansas, and there are no survivors. Many of the victims have yet to be publicly identified. It was just a very, very sad scene. At least 4 bodies have been recovered as of yesterday evening, a law enforcement source said by CBS. And the District of Columbia Fire and Emergency Medical Services Chief John Donnelly earlier said that efforts at the scene have switched from a rescue operation to recovery operation. And we wanted to take a few minutes, even though the names are coming out of some of the people who died. I know the ice skating community has been hit very, very, very hard by this, but we wanted to take a minute to recognize the lives of a few that we know, people who know them, and we just wanted to, again, recognize them. There's Captain Jonathan Campos, First Officer Samuel Lilly, flight attendants Ian Epstein and Denisha Elder. They were all killed on that flight. And something close to home, the Howard University family has lost Miss Kaya Duggins, who was starting in the fall as a law professor at Howard University. And it's just a sad situation across the board. And I have to stop looking at the television because I kept thinking those people passed away. They were probably 3 minutes from landing, and they were texting people, things that we all do on a plane. I'm getting ready to land. We turn our phone on, and we're getting ready to letting people know that we're here, and it never happened.
It's tragic on so many levels, and I am sharing with you also some very breaking news. There's just been a small plane crash here in Philadelphia. I've been getting texts where people have been texting me going like, "Are you okay?" And I just looked up on the news and saw that there's a small plane crash here in Northeast Philadelphia as well. So this,
wow.
It's so much. I want to, because I have looked at the news and there are things that I want to pull from this story, but I don't want to be the person. I don't want to sound like I don't want to sound paranoid about what I'm thinking about, because I don't know why that helicopter hit that plane. I just don't know how that could have happened. And I keep thinking it was intentional. And
Well,
I don't want to believe that.
nothing has pointed to it as of yet that it was intentional. Nothing as of yet.
Yeah.
but Alvin, Bobby, there are a plethora of theories out there. I mean, even conspiracy theories, and we don't know. And we all know DCA, National Airport, very well. We've all flown in and out of that airport, and we know that area. We've driven across that bridge a million times. So when, to Alvin's point, have to wonder what's going on. And to make things worse, we have a man at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue who isn't even acknowledging these valuable souls, if you will. Even in the press conference that some of us saw, some of us don't want to see it, or those kind of things, but he couldn't even get up the nerve to answer a basic question about going to the site of where the crash took place. And that should tell people something about the kind of man that is sitting at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. He has no soul. He does not care about his own citizens, people who are going about their daily lives, looking forward to coming to this beautiful city, despite the cold weather and the rain today. And he can't even go out there to the site, which is not very far from the White House, mind you. I mean, literally, you can, if you're high enough, you can literally see the river from the White House. Okay. And so it's just quite disturbing that this individual, the orange man, if you will, gave this horrific press conference and not truly acknowledging the souls that was lost. I'm like I said, I'm done. Have to go, I'm
Disgusting. It was
disgusting.
disgusting that when a reporter asked him about visiting the site, he made some reference as to, well, why would I be going there to take a swim or to go swimming? Like, as bodies are still unrecovered in those waters.
A narcissist says that. That's what narcissists say.
To even blame what happened on Joe Biden, to even take it back there. First of all, he used that as he did what he normally does. I need to finish a sentence, ladies and gentlemen, because this man makes me so mad. I can't even finish a sentence because the things that I can't say to you all on this platform about how I really feel. Hello, Rose. Thank you for joining us tonight. I can't say what I really feel, but that was so, watching him, it was so disgusting. I just stopped watching it.
He turned it into a political event. I mean, he used the opportunity, instead of honoring the souls, he turned it into something political where he had to attack diversity. He had to attack DEI. Okay. And knowing that the pilot of the helicopter was a white man, the pilot of the aircraft was a white man. And a week ago, he basically kind of fired a lot of folks from the FAA. Okay. So everyone involved at the highest level in terms of this crash were all white men. There's your diversity, if you will.
Absolutely.
There you have it. There you have it.
He has been on a bit of a roll, as many of you know, in his first 2 weeks of office, including a number of executive orders. Among them is this one where the U.S. Air Force was banned from actually using in training videos information concerning the famed all black World War II fighter group known as the Tuskegee Airmen, or the all-white female service pilots known as WASP. They were not to be included in training videos. But in an about face, these video clips and this information has indeed been restored as a result of some bipartisan support and outcry. The line was drawn by those who were well aware that you cannot talk of the history of the United States Air Force and not include the extraordinary, important, and valuable contribution of both women and these all-black fighters known as the Tuskegee Airmen. So it's interesting to me how people are finding that as a place of drawing a line and saying, this, enough is enough, and not necessarily doing so in some of these other areas where these executive orders have been issued. Now, I do know that there has been some legal pushback in terms of some of these executive orders, but I'm really looking more for the public hue and cry of people really speaking out, whether it's something as painful and disgusting as the statement that was made today concerning people whose lives were lost, and his leadership as the president to really be there for all Americans, not just people who supported him, for all Americans. But here was a case where when it came to the Air Force not being able to include this information in training videos, people on both sides of the political spectrum spoke up and made it.
That's kind of interesting.
It's very interesting because what it really boils down to is this: anything that has to do with Black Americans and our history, they deem it as being part of critical race theory.
Yeah.
So they want to remove anything that has to do with teaching all Americans about the history of this country, particularly the history of Black people. So if it's history and there's a Black man or Black woman involved, it's considered critical race theory, and therefore we don't support that kind of thinking. So
at the very least, DEI, if not at the extreme as critical race theory, they certainly are considering anything that's related to people of color, specifically as DEI, not including women, not necessarily including LGBTQ in the same ways. They are equating DEI with incompetency, because if you're saying that the only reason that plane went down was because of DEI initiative, you're then suggesting there was a lesser competency being applied in that situation as a result of supporting a diverse workforce.
Well, I can't say for verbatim what he said, but he referenced that we need geniuses, and that how the people who were flying these planes trying to bring a collation and justify his statement about DEI, he was basically calling them idiots. And yeah, it was so inappropriate. It was so inappropriate. I literally cut the TV off because I went into that space. I've seen that before. I just couldn't handle it and just didn't think I wanted to see that. I got this is, ladies and gentlemen, this was not in our program, but I got to share something with you because it happened today. My car has been in the shop. So I finally got my car out the shop, and I'm sitting in the shop today. There are three of us, 3 Black men who are sitting in 4 Black men sitting in the shop. 2 of the Black men wanted to start talking about Trump and how he was awful and going through the whole thing and all that. And so we were kind of engaging him and whatnot and talking about it. And then these 2 Latino senior citizen women came into the shop. They sat down and they sat and listened. And by this time, the conversation had been talking about deportation and how Trump was, sending families home and deporting families and all that. And one guy was saying that, and there were people who support him, and they took his wife. You've seen that story about the guy's wife was taken or whatever. And so the 2 elderly, they were in their 80s or 90s. One of them raised her hand like she was in school. And she said, I know I'm getting in this conversation, but I just wanted to let you all know that President Obama deported more people from the United States when he got into office. And now these black men, you could see the rage on their faces. So while they were enraged, I was Googling on my phone to see what was happening. And when I got it, President Obama did make a historic move and deport a lot of immigrants from the United States who were criminals. He did not deport families. They were all criminals. It is true. It is true. So I told her, ma'am, what you're saying is true. But the black men were ready to pounce on this 90-year-old woman because she mentioned Obama. And I told them, I used that moment to say, guys, you can't just get angry. You know, you gotta. I didn't say a word and went right to my phone and started and it came up. He did. Out of all the presidents, President Obama has deported the most immigrants, but they were all criminals and they were not family members. You know, he didn't break up families and all of that. So I'm just saying that was a moment of teaching that I typically took that temperature from an 8 in that room down to a 1. Because they were ready to let those two women have it.
Well, Alvin, let me say this, and I don't have all the facts, but it's also a misnomer because people, yes, Obama did deport a lot, but when he was deporting folks that had just crossed the border. Mm-hmm. He was not deporting people who had been here for 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
Right.
And like you said, he was not separating families or threatening other countries. So those folks that he was deporting, they just arrived. They just crossed the border, and he was just trying to keep things at bay. So people tend to forget that little bit of fact when it comes to what Obama actually did.
Right. And I think in her case, she was stating a fact, but she was also basically trying to slide in that, well, Trump is not doing anything that President Obama did. And I was trying to keep those men off of her. So I was really trying to do
Good
that.
job.
I was trying to do it, and I stepped in. I had to do it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we leave our top news story, as many of you have heard, many establishments have denounced DEI programs, and so we can send you all to our website, but there are lots of companies on here that, I mean, literally have denounced their DEI programs. And I mean, from even Land O'Lakes butter. Now, you know, we like our butter. Who's going to stop eating Land O'Lakes butter? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm talking, there are so many companies on here that I had no idea are on here. And I sent this to Shawn today. Shawn was like, I don't bother none of those companies anyway.
Yes, he was unmoved. He said, I don't fit many establishments.
He went right there, but I, you know, we will share this on our website. But there are a lot of companies, ladies and gentlemen, and we're not telling you, you know, do your homework. We can't tell you who to eat with, who not to eat with. We're not in that business to do that, but we're here to be a resource. And these are people or companies, organizations that do not support DEI programs. So. Go to He Said Live on our Facebook page, and this will be posted after the show. Take a look, do your homework, do your thing. All right, do your thing. Now, Ann Jeffers is on here. I've never seen Ann Jeffers. Good evening, Ann. She said the right calls him deporter in chief. Is that they're talking about President Obama?
Yes.
No. Or is it? Oh, yes, they called deporter in chief.
Yes.
And we're going to say bless their heart, Ann, and we're going to keep moving. Thank you for that information. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you know, it's about we got to get into some social and entertainment news. So, if Bobby, if you're ready, you can go ahead and take it away. Because
I am. Well, once again, that name keeps coming up. P. Diddy, right now. The latest story is first and foremost that there has been a recent interview on Good Morning America with D Woods. Her name is Denise Woodgett. She's an actress and singer, but she is best known for being on the television show Making the Band. And, you know, she spoke to Good Morning America, again, talking about some troubling interactions during the show and being a part of the band that was created from the show called Danity Kane. And in her conversation, she was talking much about how under the tutelage or leadership of P. Diddy, that she was often treated with disrespect and often treated almost as if she were a piece of meat, is her own quote by Diddy. Now, this also comes on the heels of the release of a documentary about this whole situation called The Fall of P. Diddy. And it is on the Discovery Channel. I just want to make sure that people know it has recently been released. And it's a 4-part documentary looking at this whole situation in terms of the fall from grace of P. Diddy. And D. Woods is her name. And she was asked whether or not she was concerned about her own safety in being able to speak up. And she said she is the first of many people who will be actually coming forward to really share some of the unknown details of experiences at the hand of P. Diddy.
Well, Orange Man is actually subpoenaing.
Be careful.
He wants all of Diddy's records pulled. He wants all the records pulled with the assassination of Kennedy, the assassination of Martin Luther King. I don't know if it was Malcolm X. I don't know if Malcolm X is in there, but he wants all their records pulled, but he wants Diddy's records pulled. And I thought that was just such a cheesy thing to do. I mean, out of all the people and that you could, pull his records, but I have a feeling that he was a part of some of those parties, that he had something to do with that, perhaps, or he probably will pardon Diddy.
Okay. I can't. Can't be clear, Alvin. Oh Lord. Yeah.
It can run it could go either way.
It could run the gamut. I certainly wouldn't want his name associated with mine. And I'm not talking about Diddy right now. I'm talking about like it's just really, we find ourselves in a really, really sad, whether it's politics, whether it's the entertainment, the scandals of the entertainment business. There's just a lot going on right now. And so, Shawn, when you talk about taking a day of just kind of stepping back and stepping away from all of it, I totally get it. And a lot of people don't do it because they aren't really satisfied with their own company. But I think it is a wonderful thing to, in the midst of all this going on around us, to be able to kind of step back when we're able to.
Well, we really have to step away from celebrity culture. I don't get it. I mean, I told you all a long time ago that once Janet Jackson made that comment about Kamala Harris, I cut her off. And Janet was my favorite. Today is January 31st, and I still have not listened to not one single word, song, anything by Janet Jackson, because what she did played into a larger issue. And so when it comes to these celebrities, Snoop Dogg, Nelly, Soulja Boy, okay, we should not expect them to, quote, fall in line, end quote, when it comes to Black America, Black issues, because they are all about the almighty American dollar. So Snoop gave his reasoning. He said he wasn't there for the Orange Man. He was there for a friend of his who was part of this whole cryptocurrency thing. They really want to replace the US dollar with cryptocurrency. But people forget that the US economy is about $30+ trillion. It's about $32 trillion. That's the size of the US economy. No other country in the world has the economy that large. And so Snoop thing was like, well, we want to get cryptocurrency to replace the US dollar. And so this friend of mine is doing crypto, so I'm going to perform for him, not so much for the Orange Man. Well, it's the same thing. Right. You and Nelly showed your true colors, and now you want to get up there and say, well, no, it's not about that. It's about the office itself. It's about respecting the office, not the individual. Can I use a curse word here?
If you have to ask, that would be enough.
Yeah, no, I've been
Okay.
having mine is sitting
It's
back here.
BS.
That's it. That's it.
It's BS. Okay.
There we still know what you mean. BS.
No,
Okay.
that's good. You can go there. Keep going. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So they want to say things like, okay, well, the Black community, they want to throw you in the bus. We're trying to come together and so forth. Well, you weren't coming together when you were collecting that $1 million paycheck to perform before a man who's trying to get rid of all these Black jobs, if you will.
Right.
So there is no cohesion, no communities when you go behind the community's back just for $1. And that's what Nelly did. That's what Snoop Dogg did. That's what Soulja Boy actually put it online. And he was literally counting the cash online.
Yes, he
okay.
did.
And
Yes,
said, this is what the orange man gave me. Okay. And again, BS, he doesn't know anything about his history. And it's people like that, those three individuals, that's why Black Americans can't get ahead, because they are speaking for us by proxy, and we didn't give them that power. White men in particular, who think that they are the voice of Black America, use them, and it's creating this narrative that, okay, well, give them 6 months and the Black community is going to come back and support them. We got to stop that. We got to stop giving celebrities the benefit of the doubt, because they are not thinking about us.
There you have it. There you have it. And we got to treat it like we treated Chrisette Michele. People probably don't even know who she is now. But, Chrisette Michele performed for the Orange Man in 2016, and she got canceled. We need to do that to people like Snoop and Nelly, and Soulja Boy. I don't even know who he is, but Nelly is getting ready to do a residency in Vegas, and any Black person who goes to see Nelly, somebody should read them, okay? Because let me see. Praying for patience. Thank you for being here. I struggled today trying to find a store where I could be hangers. Oh, I was near Target and Walmart, but drove 20 minutes out of my way to get what I needed. Sometimes, you know what? You got to prove a point that way. It's all about proving a point, because you just can't. I was having a buy hangers. I'm sorry, praying for patience. I was talking to one of my coworkers, and she's giving me a list of people that she has been buying Black from. She has 3 boys, and she said, Alvin, some of them are good, some of them are not. But she is developing her own little buying Black catalog. So I'm going to be talking to her. But as far as these entertainers are concerned, don't support them. Don't support them in anything that they do. If you listen to some of the responses, or the response from Nelly and the response from Snoop Dogg, who in December, I called my person of the year in 2024. I gave him so much credit. And now I'm just like, dude, you have disappointed me to a place where, as far as I'm concerned, this is the last time I'm going to say your name.
I was also, because I certainly, I was seeing how he was really kind of evolving, and this in terms of kind of crossing over in some ways that I found kind of interesting in some way, seeing him at the Olympics, and, he's a judge on The Voice and all of that. And I felt that even when he was doing that, I saw him expanding his audience, but not necessarily turning his back on his audience.
Correct.
Like what he's done in terms of being able to perform for this inauguration is literally turning his back on it. And as you were saying, Chrisette Michele's career was crashed. It plummeted. Just as she was a rising star, her decision to do it really cost her, I believe, the type of career that she's certainly capable of, because she's an extremely talented performer.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is, people were not really responding positively to her decision to make to support that first inauguration. And I do believe that the same type of response is important from us to these performers who performed, particularly after the damage that came from that first administration. that you would then go in and produce for him, knowing potential of damage of a second administration. So they spoke, and I think we have to speak in response.
And Michelle Sim says, please remember that we are all very much flawed and human. Proceed with caution as you navigate and make life choices. Amen. Amen. But, you know, they heard what we heard. They heard Project 25. Well, I won't say that they read it. I'm not going to give them that much credit. But what the Orange Man is doing right now is everything that he said he was going to do. So nothing's a surprise. So for Nelly and Snoop to support him, get out of here. I'm done with you. Oh, and DL Hughley has a wonderful commentary after Snoop Dogg said that Black people, you know, how do you say? He said that Black people let him down. You have to please Google or go on IG and find DL Hughley. He snapped back. He snapped back at Snoop Dogg's response about Black people and sticking together. You got to hear it. Very, 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 very good.
Yeah, I saw it.
It's very good. So, ladies and gentlemen, hear that. Well, you know what I think we should do right now. I think we should, you know, at least celebrate some Black people who are doing great things. As you know, the Oscar nominations are up and have just been released, and I'm just going to call them in the order that they are. Cynthia Erivo has just been nominated for Best Actress in Wicked, and if she wins, she will be an EGOT. You know, the girl is bad. This is her season, and she's doing what needs to be done. So I hope that that she wins. I hope she wins. I'm just gonna say I hope she wins. Also, Coleman Domingo is nominated for Best Actor for Sing Sing, of which I haven't seen yet, for which I'm going to see all these movies before the Oscars come out. So I just want y'all to know that I'm definitely going to see it. Zoe Saldana has been nominated Best Supporting Actress for Emilia Perez, which she just won the Golden Globe for her performance in that. Ramel Ross, who won nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay for Nickel Boys, and I'm hearing great things about Nickel Boys. So, ladies and gentlemen, everybody who gets nominated are not actors and actresses. Okay, they're writing too. We write, we talk, we sing, we do it all. Okay, so also Chris Bowers has been nominated for Best Original Score for The Wild Robot. And I've never seen them. I don't know anything about it, but he's been nominated for that. And last but not least of the top nominees, Paul Tazewell for Best Costume for Wicked. He was nominated, and I'm very, 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 very proud of him. He has been around for years. And so he's been doing costume design for years. So I'm glad to see him, get nominated for that. Let me go back. Patience said, but yet Snoop is trying to sell hair scarves. Snoop is trying to sell hair scarves in Target and clothing in Walmart. He forgot who his target audience is. Come on now.
Patience. Come on.
Come on, Patience. Put it out there. Okay. Put it out there. Thank you. I don't go to Target, so I'm so un-Target. I have no idea what that's about. And also, this Sunday, the Grammy Awards are coming on Sunday, February the 22nd. And there are a lot of nominees in that category. Charlie, CX, Billie Eilish, Kendrick Lamar, Post Malone, all of them have gotten 7 nominations. Sabrina Carpenter, Chappelle Roan, Taylor Swift they've all gotten 6 each. But Beyonce has picked up 11 nominations, the most for any artist going into the 2025 Grammy ceremony. Her album, Cowboy Carter, earned nominations for Album of the Year, Record of the Year, and Song of the Year. Her nomination for Bodyguard in the Best Pop Solo performance category as well. Bay has now has 99 total nominations and is also the winningest artist in Grammy history with 32 trophies. The new nominations are spread across multiple Grammy fields thanks to her genre-bending 2024 album Cowboy Carter, which earned 3 nods. And so I am just so proud of Beyonce. I don't care what y'all say about Beyonce. She's one of the hardest working women in the entertainment industry. Okay, so y'all can talk about Beyonce all you want. Who was that? Who was that? Sergeant Black one says, I feel bad for buying that damn champagne now. Was that Snoop Dogg champagne?
Snoop or Nelly? Who has the champagne?
Who has the champagne? Let me know. Well, you know, look, don't worry about it. I called Snoop one of the best performers of the year last year to close out the show, and I'm still eating that. So don't feel bad, Sergeant Black one. It's just the way it is. Thank you for joining the show tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in to our Let's Get Newsy. Oh, Snoop. Oh, okay. Well, there you have it. Don't buy Snoop champagne, y'all. If you can. So no, but thank you all. We finished our Let's Get Newsy show. Shawn and Bobby, you know, as always, you guys are the .com, the bomb, and I just appreciate you guys. And we just thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for letting us come on here and tell you our side of the story. Okay, because that's all we want to do, and in the process, we want to educate and provide you with some resources. So again, thank you for tuning in. We plan to be back next Friday, February the 7th. Hopefully you guys will join us. And look, while I have you all here, if you know any authors, any singers or performers that want to come on our platform, you know, if I don't care what you're doing, if you are a cook and you got a story to tell, especially if you got a book behind it, you know, come on, we want to hear from you. We got a platform. So, you know, feel free to get in touch with us. You have all of our platforms. You know, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. We want to bring you on and share you with our viewers, ladies and gentlemen. Before we go, our words of the week, thanks to Bobby. When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. And that was a quote by Jimi Hendrix this week, ladies and gentlemen. He didn't just play a guitar, okay? he didn't just play a guitar. But thank you all for joining us tonight. Shawn and Bobby, hopefully you guys are ready for an action-packed weekend with whatever you're doing, you know?
Yeah, I wish the same for you, my brother.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, who was this? Charles Dodson. Thank you for joining us tonight, my brother. Thank you. And for some reason, I've seen Charles before. I know that name. But anyway, he said hi to Shawn. He said special hello to you, Shawn. So we're gonna give it to you. Ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you on the next live episode of He Said.
He said.
You all have a good weekend. Be safe out there. All right.
Bye.
Bye.